What is going on, guys? It's your boy Squeegee back with another Torchlight Infinite video. And today I want to bring to you the Youga build that I have been working on for the past couple of days. It's why you haven't seen any videos of crafting guides or any kind of farming strategies coming out, because I've been mainly focusing on just working on this build, farming up some currency so I can put more stuff onto the build. I've been moving stuff around and trying new stuff and everything else to see how good I can make it feel. And it's starting to feel really good. As you can see from the video footage behind me, or on the screen, that we're just literally walking around and our shadow swamp is casting while we're channeling. We're using Path of the Flames to channel so that we can cast our shadow swamp, and then we're going to be stacking as much reap as we can so that as soon as shadow swamp hits, it reaps all that dot damage and the enemies die, right? This footage is how the build is currently, right? I still have a lot of crafting I need to do. I want to get some explode on the chest and see if that makes the clearer a lot better. But damage wise, it's pretty good. It's not like nowhere near a billion, but I haven't had no problems killing anything so far. So we'll see how that goes pushing into T8s. But I really wanted to make a build for Youga. I feel like there isn't a whole lot of builds out there for him that don't include having to buy 2 memories and a whole bunch of legendary gear that are pretty expensive just to feel mediocre, right? So for the most part, all of my gear is craft. We are using a couple of uniques, but they're really low priced uniques just to make the build feel a little bit better. And I'm still swapping these in and out to just see how they feel. So that's where all my currency has been going. I am going to start focusing more on more currency, high investment currency strats, and those videos will be coming soon. I'll also be doing a leveling guide for this build, and I should be out tomorrow. So you can see we're using Path of the Flames for our channeling on a 6 link. Then we're using Force Start just so we can start our energy shield in case we get some big hits. We're using Scorch as our curse. We are using Thundercloud for our reap damage, just so that something is always hitting and we're always applying reap, right? We're using Mana Boil. You'll get into the map, you'll cast this one time, and it should effectively stay for the whole course of the map until you leave. We're using our auto defense. It is set up on our mana. Swiftness for a little bit more speed, and then energy shield, so we get a lot of the energy shield. Here's our cast while channeling shadow swamp with more reap added to that, and then we're using thunder Abuse on a channel just so that our lightning or our thundercloud will do a little bit more damage on the boss. I'm still working on that, see if I like it. This is our low life conversion. I'm using elemental resistance right now just to cap some resistances. Hopefully once I get done crafting, I can drop this and apply a more damaging aura. We'll be using Elemental Amplified, and then once I get this to level 95, we will be able to hit that 100 and apply, Deep Pain, right? Which is just the more dot damage aura that you can put on, right? Because the more dot damage we can do, and then the faster reap we can hit, hopefully we can just clear enemies no problem, right? These are the talent tree that we're going with. We're going Goddess of Darkness first. I'm still messing with the trees, obviously, until I get to where I like it. But mainly for the most part, I took all the damage nodes, any kind of movement speed nodes, anything that had blur effect, because we're getting blur, plus we're getting a lot of movement speed from blur, so we're doing that. So, but this tree could change a little bit as I continue to play with the build. We're taking Affliction just so we can apply more Affliction, have more increased effect of Affliction. Then we're doing Reap, obviously, so that we can reap and it'll do 80% of the dot damage that we do to that enemy's life, and hopefully we can clear enemies really quickly. Like I said, this tree could change a little bit. We're doing Prelude so that whenever our next skill hits, it does a little more damage, and then we're doing a +3 support just because of restraint and our precise seal. Pushing those higher lets us, put more auras on effectively. So the more auras we can stack, since the more aura stacking, the more damage we can output and everything else. I put on this soul finale just to try some crit stuff. It isn't working. You don't need that. I also put on this pushing the cogs of fate to get Spacetime. It's pretty expensive, like 200 FE. And I really didn't notice a whole lot of big difference whenever I put it on, so it might have been just a waste of money. I don't recommend those, but the Secrets of Time I do recommend, because the faster we can build up our space-time, the faster we can move our twisted space-time with us, since we're not casting our Shadow Swamp, right? And since we're not casting our Shadow Swamp, the more we can move our twisted time with us, the more damage it's going to give out, because it records the reaping damage and everything like that, just so we can get a whole lot of damage on the boss, right? And the more it moves, the more damage it applies, etc. So those are what I'm currently working with, right? We'll see how that feels once I get my chest piece. Most of my gear, like I said, isn't crazy craft. This is the budget one that I had crafted. During the leveling guide, I'll explain these little budget ones that you can craft that'll help you get into your big game. And this is the end game wand that I crafted. As you can see, I still haven't Omni Slam that spell damage into anything good. I just got some rings for resistance. King's Boon because of the reap, 1 second a dot, right? Like I said, we're stacking reaps to try to get it to where whenever it reaps that dot, it'll completely eliminates enemies. We're also using the Light Hunter belt for a lot of energy shield, since it converts life to energy shield, which is really nice. You want as much energy shield as you can, because that's what our life is depending on. On these gloves, I went for the reap, right? And while I was rolling for T1 reap, I hit fervor. You don't need fervor. Fervor is not going to help this build for the most part. We're not doing any critical damage, but it just felt really weird to roll over fervor, so I left it on and then finished rolling my reap. So do with that information what you will. My chest piece is obviously just a high energy shield chest piece, a couple of resistances I needed, and then we'll be crafting on our explode just to see if that helps clear a lot faster, since we're casting our Shadow Swamp, and then hopefully it clears it, and we can get full screen clears from that. That for the most part is what the build is looking like currently. And like I said, I will have a leveling guide coming out probably tomorrow, just to show you what to run up to a certain point, when to swap over to Path of Flames. And when you do swap over to Path of Flames is going to be, for the most part, what your damage is based off, right? So it's going to feel a little clunky, and I'm hoping that once I do the leveling again on this build, I can kind of work out some of the kinks and make it a little bit better. That's what the build is. Thanks for checking out the video. Like I said, this is bound to change. Any changes that I make, if they're like really big changes, I come across some really good stuff, I'll make a new video on. Smaller changes I make, I'll probably just put in the Google Doc. So if you're already on the Google Doc, you'll see all the changes that I'm making on that build. And then, yeah, so like I said, I'm going to probably put like another day worth of farming and currency into it. Make sure I get my Ominous Slams on my chest piece for Explode, Ominous Slam on my wand for my reap, and we're going to see how that feels. And then I'm probably going to go back into making some more crafting videos, especially some crafting videos over the wands in case you're following this build, but just general crafting videos. And then back to some high investment farming strats, because there are a couple out right now that I've been doing before I started this build that you might want to try just so you can see those big loot explosions. So thank you for watching the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or if you have a bigger brain than I do, because this is my first build, and you see something that could change that might potentially help the build, please leave a comment, right? I want to try all the stuff that I can. I definitely want to make a good Youga build, just because I have wanted to play that character for a long time, and I seen the Shadow Shot, Shadow Swarm build with 2 memories and all this expensive stuff, and I kind of just wanted a good currency build that you can just slowly invest into over time that feels good and doesn't require you buying like 9 uniques that are pretty expensive just to feel okay. So that's the video. Thanks guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.